Hey, I'm Josh for Bass Buzz, and this is it, the final showdown. We took a list of every single sub $500 bass we could find, came out to about 200 basses. We whittled down to this list of 7. We've taken you through a review of each of the 7 basses with me and 2 other pro bass players who I had blindfolded playing these basses. And now we've all picked 2 favorites. We're gonna do a shootout, see which ones we pick, and let you know which beginner bass you should buy.
So top two basses, I like them both. I don't think you can go wrong with either of these, but we're gonna pick a winner here. Great tone, really good looking bass. Kind of an old standby. I mean, if you love the sound and the look of a jazz bass, you're gonna get that and more with this. I really dig the punchiness. Really tough decision, man. Let's try the Yamaha. I'd have to say dynamically, the Yamaha bass offers a lot more from the pickups. You can get multiple sounds that work for multiple styles, which is very cool. I'm going to say the winner is the TRBX304 Yamaha. Just all around, the feel and the sound of this bass is just far ahead of any of the other competition. I can get over the modern metallic look given the sound and the playability of this, but I don't think you'd lose either way. You're gonna have both great basses.
1, 2, 3, 4.
These are the two. These are the two that I think I like the best. The Fender Jaguar and the Yamaha
TRBX304.
It's just a symbol up there. You don't know. Yamaha versus Squier. Let's swap them out. This would be my pick.
Bum, ba, bum, ba, ba, ba.
I like the feel of it, and again, I might be biased because this is the same type of bass that I play. I play the Japanese-made Fender Jaguar, and it's one of the basses that I like. The string tension, the way that the strings just sit on this bass, just feels like it responds really well. It's nice and punchy, and even when I play it with the volume off, it still has a lot of tone, and it still plays the way that I want it to play. So it feels just like a more solid instrument. Also, I really like the vibe of this bass. It has a great shape, and so that needs to be considered. And the Yamaha, I really like the tonal options on it, but there's something about the string tension on it, there's something about the way that the neck sits that I don't like as much.
Yeah.
Although the electronics there are much more balanced. This still has like the super danger bass boost knob that I think is just wrong. I don't think it should be there. So you disconnect that and you blast it through your amp and you're in good shape.
So all of our top 2s ended up being very similar. Ben had the Yamaha and the Squier J bass in his top 2, just like I do. And Gio had the Yamaha in his top 2 as well. He had the Jaguar in instead of the J bass. So Ben's favorite was the Yamaha, Gio's favorite was the Jaguar. Let's see where I end up. I'm gonna noodle around a little bit, share some of my thoughts, and pick a winner. All right, let me try the J bass out. All right, it's tough to pick a winner between these two. They both have some characteristics that are unique between the two of them. The jazz bass just has those vintage sounds. It's just a nice low-end passive instrument. It's got good neck pickup sounds. It's got decent bridge pickup sounds. It could be a little bit better, but like I said in the J bass video, I did dial that in a little bit by adjusting the pickup height. All that said, the Yamaha has some distinct advantages of its own. The electronics are just a lot more versatile. I'll go ahead and pick that up. You've just got higher quality pickups in this thing than we saw anywhere else. Again, because there's a significant price difference between these two. But you've got the dual humbuckers. You've got a lot more options with the active EQ. And the 24 fret neck and just better, a slimmer neck overall is more. This bass is actually more my style. In terms of how it plays and the tones you can get out of it. I think that for me, if I had to pick between these two basses, being a professional bass player and already having the bass I have, I would go for the Squier Vintage Modified Jazz Bass as my winner. I want to qualify that answer though, because I play a bass that's much more like this, the PV Cirrus that you see in most of my videos. It's got two humbucker pickups, it's got active EQ on board, a 24 fret neck, a nice slim neck profile. A lot of the characteristics that this Yamaha has, it's just a better version of this because it's a more expensive bass. So for me, there's no really need for me to have this in my arsenal because I already have the Cirrus. However, I don't have a jazz bass currently, and this would be a totally fun bass for me to whip out on the occasional funk gig when I get around to doing that. So if I had to pick a bass that I would actually own at this point in my life, I would go for the J bass. So we started with 3 bass players, me, Ben, and Gio, and we've ended with 3 different winners. Not that surprising, actually, because playing bass is such an individual, subjective thing in many ways. And so if you can get your hands on an instrument before making a purchase decision, that's really the best thing. However, you've heard the basses, you've heard a lot about them, and now I'm going to give you my recommendations. So for my recommendations, I'm going to drop the Jaguar out of the running because I have some really big concerns about that active bass boost. I don't want it getting in the wrong hands, and I don't want it screwing up your first gig. Okay, so because the electronics in this are kind of weak and some other little issues, I'm not going to recommend that one over the other great options we have here. So if you're looking for a modern bass, you want to play in a lot of different styles and have some tonal versatility. Maybe you're not sure what kind of music you want to play yet. You like some rock, you like some funk, you like some jazz. You're all over the place like me. I would say go for the Yamaha TRBX304. It's a great bass. It's got a lot to offer. It's got a 24 fret neck, which is awesome. The electronics are by far a notch above everything else we looked at quality-wise. And I love this bass. I think there's a couple improvements they could make, but it's definitely worth your money if you can spend $350 on a bass. And yeah, I like it as a modern, versatile pick. If you have slightly more limited tastes and you really just like those old school bass sounds, go for the Squier Vintage Modified Jazz Bass for sure. I mean, first of all, it just looks awesome. It's a gorgeous bass. I personally do not like the look of the Yamaha that much, but that's just me. It would work great if you're in a metal band or something like that, I think. But this, I think Fender just did a great job with this Squier model of the jazz bass. Yes, it has the typical Fender issues, the big fat neck block, not enough frets, bad upper fret access, but it just sounds good. It's just got a good jazz bass sound. I like that it's passive. There's no gimmicky bass boost that sucks like there is on the Jaguar. And I think this is a great bass. If you like the jazz bass sound, then you should totally get this bass. If you're on a budget and even spending the money for the jazz bass or the Yamaha is too much for you, go for the Cort Action. It is available in other finishes besides the sparkly pink, but why would you want them? Because this is amazing. Ben and Gio and I were all really impressed with this bass. It's got a 24 fret neck for $200. I don't know where else you can find that. It's got passive electronics, which is great at this price point because the only active electronics you can get on a $200 bass are those crappy bass boosts that are just big and muddy and don't improve the sound at all. So the Cort Action, I think, I can't imagine a better $200 bass brand new. So this is the budget buy for sure. And then the Yamaha for the modern sounds and the Fender for the vintage sounds. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that this review series brought you some clarity about what your options are, and maybe you're feeling ready to make your first bass purchase. Do it. Buy that bass. Start rocking today. It's really fun. And make sure to follow us at bassbuzz.com for all the latest lessons and gear reviews and all that good stuff. Peace out.